Some of the high-performance touring sedans that are currently available on the market. The first one we'll look at is the Volvo turbocharged intercooled GT. The Volvo Turbo GT with the intercooler option is a $20,000 500 automobile. What you get for the money is a family sedan with ample room for four that also provides surprising acceleration, handling, and braking. The most innovative thing about the car is the air-to-air intercooler, which, when coupled to the turbocharger, provides over 160 horsepower from a fuel-efficient 2.1-liter engine.
The power in the car is quite fantastic. I wouldn't want to relate it to a sports car, but to a normal sedan, it is a very, very fast motor car. I would criticize the seating arrangement in it. The car is potentially a very fast motor car, and the seating definitely isn't up to scratch with the type of speeds and the cornering action that you can get from this car. One thing that is surprisingly good are the brakes on normal driving situations that you would find yourself in. The gearbox in the car is a 4-speed synchromesh with an electric overdrive. It's completely adequate. There's no problem with the gearbox at all. The ratios in the gearbox are sufficient that it can get you from a standing start to the top speed of the car in adequate time. The one thing I would criticize on the handling department of this car is the oversteer situation you get in. In other words, the tail end of the car gets very happy, very light. And Volvo have designed the front and rear sway bars, I would imagine, for normal highway driving. However, when you get into the situation of a tight corner, the tail becomes very loose, and that's called oversteer. I think Volvo could have compromised a little bit and put a slightly smaller rear stabilizer bar on it, and this would help a lot. This is a family sedan, really, and unfortunately since 1975, Volvo haven't changed this basic design of the car at all. And if you were looking for a very nice sedan, I don't think you would pick the old, staid design of the Volvo. However, in the upside, this is a car that you could deceive your wife with very, very easily. You could go out and tell her you're buying a Volvo, which she would probably be very, very pleased about, and end up with an intercooled turbo such as this without her knowing anything about it. Up to this point, we have been using a Porsche turbo as our standard car to criticize the other cars or to set up the other cars, but we felt that was a bit unfair in this car, and other cars were going to test in the same class. So we'll say that a possible 10 can be achieved by a motor car in this class, and with that in mind, I would class this car at an 8.3. Again, this is a high rating. It's a very comfortable car, a very exciting car, a very deceptive car. But I'm sure somebody buying a Volvo Turbo with this intercooler would be very satisfied with their choice.
Volvo has a well-deserved reputation for building safe, reliable cars. And now with the introduction of the turbocharged model, they can also add performance to that list. Our thanks to Don Dockstader Volvo for supplying us with the car, to Tony Morris of Circuit Tire for his evaluation, and to the Sports Car Club of BC for allowing us to use Westwood Racing Circuit. See you next week for another edition of Auto Check on Consumer Report.